I swear this thing does nothing for sound. Hi, hold on. Let me put my headphones. So,
Hi.
how are you, Susan?
I'm so good, Justin. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I think we might have met briefly.
Oh, really? Where did we meet? Thank you.
I think possibly. Wait, were you ever part of the Mimosa Mastermind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did we meet?
I think we
Cabo?
briefly. Yeah, I think one time 2 years ago.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It was
I
not
didn't
like
go this year.
we had like a brief, probably like, hey, how are you? Hey, that's it.
Oh, that's so funny. So you're in, the Amber Spears crew.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Very, pretty close with that crew. But yeah.
What's your business?
So I've been an affiliate marketer for a long time.
Really?
And I'm in the CPA world, and I'm actually transitioning into. Oh, this is. I'm using my computer video. I never do that. Okay, I'll just stick with it. I'm transitioning into more of an online coach. So I'm starting to shift my posts and my stuff to help males or females with that are high income earners that struggle with the same things that I've went through over the past several years. And I brought mindfulness into my life, meditation, and all kinds of therapy and everything to make everything better and continuing to work on it. So I want to share that with the world.
That's so great. I love it.
Yeah. So,
All
and you
right,
have a virtual background. I see. That's cool.
I do. Yeah, I have a couple of them. This one is the one I've been using lately. I have it's strung, and pulled tight, and I have a couple of them, and I just flip them. I like to have pretty backgrounds.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. Actually, I'm gonna have to adopt that from you.
Yeah, you can get them on Amazon for $20.
Sweet. Sweet. Where are you filming out of right now? Where are you?
Mill Valley, California.
Mill Valley. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Right over the Golden Gate Bridge. How about you?
Yeah, I'm in Rochester, New York.
New York, okay.
Yeah. Yep. It's like Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse. Not a lot of people have been to this area.
Oh yeah, I know it. I'm from Philly, so I've been there.
Cool.
Yeah.
And all right, Susan. So I guess I will. It's recording now, but I will do your intro separately.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about all that jazz.
Great.
And I know you've been in plenty of podcasts, so hopefully you enjoy this one and we have some fun. It sounded like you have a good format you want to go by, so I'll just start with my question, and then we'll go right into it. And then if I have any kind of questions in between, I'll shoot them out to you. Does that sound good?
Will you lead me through each of those points by asking me about them?
I absolutely will.
Okay, good.
Let me pull up my notes then. Okay.
How's my audio?
Perfect. Your audio is one of the best that I've had on.
Good.
So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I have a very nice mic up there.
That's awesome. Geez, so do you record a lot of different videos? I didn't get a chance to research too much on your...
Yeah, if you look on my Better Lover YouTube channel, I've got hundreds of sex technique videos there.
That's awesome. I'll have to check that out. I didn't get a chance to look at that yet.
It's funny because we actually met through Instagram.
But what's funny is like we met through Instagram, but then I'm like, oh, I remember Susan from the Mimosa Mastermind. So we must have had some mutual connections that we saw each other's feed.
I saw your podcast on Instagram somehow, and I was like, oh, that's a good podcast. And then I started listening. It's funny. I just listened to your one with Paulie.
Oh, you did?
Hey, bro, dude, bro.
He's so funny. I like
I love
Paul.
that guy.
I had to get his story. That's what I was
I
actually
know.
most interested in with him. Like, I wanted to hear his whole story, and that's why. And that was the first time I ever like actually dove into someone's story. Usually, we're talking about mindfulness stuff more.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was cool because that group, that Amber Spears and Mimosa Mastermind, I pulled I think 3 or 4 people from there that were really great candidates for this podcast. So
Yeah.
yeah. And hopefully my kids behave themselves in the background here. They're running around. They were supposed to be gone, but that's okay. I have a sheet up behind me. You see it there, so we don't get
Yeah.
distracted.
Yeah.
But that's the life of podcasting from home when you have kids. It's
You
just
bet.
sometimes. All right, so let's go right into it. So Susan, first off, as always, I appreciate you being here. Seriously,
Yeah, me too.
you don't have to take your time out of your day. So I'm truly grateful to
Yeah.
have you on and listen
Thanks.
to your expertise today. Super pumped. And the first question I want to ask you is a common question I ask a lot of my guests. And I'm curious, especially for you, when you wake up in the morning and you get out of bed, what makes your heart truly sing? Like, what is it today in your life that just makes it shine each day?
Creativity. My job is endlessly creative. I'm constantly surrounded by the most incredible people. I just got off the phone with Dr. Michael Murray. I called him up and I'm like, Mike, is herb cycling real or is it bullshit? You know, I'm writing copy for a brand new line of supplements that I'm launching that are the first organic supplements for blood flow, because I realized, being a sex expert, that blood flow is the thing for women as well as men. And as we age, our hormones go off the cliff, and so does our blood flow. And so what I love about getting up every day is that I'm unbelievably creative. I get to manifest. I get to invent things. I get to call experts and be like, dude, is this thing real? What do you know about that? Tell me the story of such a. I have so many incredible people that are my friends at this point in my life that I respect and revere, like Paulie. We were just talking about Paul on your last episode.
Yeah.
Paul Hoffman. Hey, bro, dude, how's it going? Like, I can call Paul and ask him anything. So what I love is that I get to use this giant brain of mine for the good of connection of humanity, and have co-creative collaboration with super premium individuals to help other people. I think that's what jazzes me up the most, is that massive creativity.
That's awesome. That's a really, really good response. I love that. I have to ask, like, it wasn't, obviously you weren't always surrounded by those people. What are a couple of things that you did, and then we'll get into this, but what are a couple of things that you did to create that sphere of influence like that?
Well, one thing is just really being myself and finding the people who like me. I'm a little kooky, I'm big, I'm loud, I'm out there, I'm silly, I'm sexy. I've had a lot of support from my husband in living into who I truly am, my true full power. I'm very supported by him. And he's never once in 30 years of being with me ever held me back, except in a way to maybe protect me from something if I was a little too far out there or what have you. So I think that's helped. And then I remember when he and I were about 40, I used to work for Tony Robbins. I was the CMO of a Tony Robbins startup, a tech startup. And we were at a Tony Robbins event. I think it was Date with Destiny. And in Date with Destiny, one of the things Tony teaches is something that I called, this is my little flavor of it, I call it Club Best. And that is up-leveling the people that you're hanging out with. A lot of times people end up in their life with the friends they've grown up with, the people in their neighborhood, the people at school or at church or what have you. And I remember when I was about 25 or 26 years old, I looked around at, I think I was 28 years old. I looked around at all the people who were my friends and I thought, well, they're very nice people, but they're really not jazzing my brain. And it was at that moment that I decided to move from Phoenix, Arizona to Silicon Valley to take myself up to the next level. And then at 40, when I was with Tony, I heard him say, you are the company you keep. You have to surround yourself with people who are better than you.
Mm.
And I said, boy, I'm going to be very proactive in up-leveling the people that I want to be with. I started going to the TED conference and hanging out with just people with extraordinary minds. I'm in a mastermind that costs me $100,000 a year to be in, because I want to be with people who are doing extraordinary things. So I'm always looking to be the dum-dum in the room and ask a lot of great questions. And that's, I think, helped me not only expand into my own personal potential, but to up-level that potential. I know that when I'm sitting in a room and I'm feeling like, oh man, I'm so intimidated. Ooh, this is a really uncomfortable feeling. That's all good. As Paul Hoffman would say, it's all good.
I love the Paul Hoffman references. It's great. What an awesome.
Love that man.
We had fun. He is.
Yeah, you did.
You have such a refreshing perspective and take on things. You know, like if more of us could have that view of wanting to be challenged, wanting to constantly learn and not be the smartest one in the room, and constantly be the one that feels like they know everything. That's great. I love that. And that's a great tip, to be able to surround yourself with those kinds of people. Right?
Well,
That's
Justin,
awesome.
that's one of your attributes that serves you, is curiosity. You have endless curiosity for people, their stories, their techniques. I mean, you're basically like a Hoover vacuum, hoovering up everybody's great ideas. This podcast just serves your deep need to be curious about people.
Wow.
I appreciate that about you.
I can't believe you already figured that out within like 5 minutes of seeing me and then listening to a couple of my podcasts. That's great.
Yeah,
That's totally true. That's why Susan, that's like, wow. I'm like kind of blown away that you said that, because that's half the reason why I took this on, is because I wanted to be that Hoover vacuum, and I wanted to just learn from people that knew more than me, and do that. And then also have other people listen to it. And that's why I put it on as a podcast platform, so that they can learn too. So we have some topics here that I wanted to make sure that we talked about, that we and that we went over a little bit about. And let's start with mindfulness and presence, since this is Mindful Impact Podcast. Yeah. Mindfulness and presence in relationship communication. A lot of people listening have families that listen to my podcast. So what's going on there?
Well, I'm a sexpert. And so thank you so much for being brave enough to have a sexpert on a mindfulness podcast. When we were talking about it, I reached out to you on Instagram and I was like, dude, I really like your podcast, and mindfulness is core to relating to people, and in the bedroom and out of the bedroom. And would you be willing to have me on to talk about the intersection of mindfulness and sexuality? And you're like, yeah, that sounds great, which I really appreciate. Good for you. Bold move, Justin. But when I was thinking about the conversation that I wanted to have with you, because I like to be very mindful about coming on to someone's show and really honoring their intention around what they're trying to convey and how you're trying to support people. And when I thought about sex, I thought, when you end up in the bedroom, it's all the stuff that happened outside the bedroom that's also very, very important. And so the mindfulness of relationship and relating, and the mindfulness of being in bed together, making love together, are two sides of the same coin. And I thought, hey, there's a couple of really good, I go on television a lot. And one of the most common things that TV producers like to book me to talk about are my conscious communication techniques. Because for a lot of, and I don't talk about sex on TV, I talk about relationship, but for a lot of people, especially, I would say this affects men more than women in the bedroom, where a guy is really driven to do a great job making love to his woman. We're just going to go heterosexual here and keep it simple, man, woman. This
Fair
works.
enough.
masculine, feminine, it works gender fluid, it works any flavor or persuasion of your sexuality, but we're going to keep it simple with man, woman. You decide who you want to be in this conversation, right? A lot of times for men, because, and I'm talking specifically around performance anxiety. Performance anxiety is the number one issue that men have in the bedroom. And it's because they want to do a really, really good job, and because they tend to be more able to achieve climactic joy through intercourse than women do. It takes us a little longer to do that. We women tend to be up in our head in worry, and men tend to be up in their head with performance anxiety, where they want to do a really good job. They're worried about not lasting long enough. Stamina is the number one issue. 1 in 3 men have stamina issues. So they're always up in their head that way. And women, being estrogen dominant rather than testosterone dominant, are up in their head worrying. Estrogen's the worry molecule. It's always catastrophizing. There's a lot of drama. It's always looking forward. It's got a laundry list. It's hard to get a woman out of her head and into her body. It's hard for her to let go and surrender. So when you get into the bedroom, you have these issues of neither person being present. She's up in her head thinking about things. He's thinking forward or worrying about what happened last time. He's not present. She's not present. And so how are they going to enter into this conjoined trance state? And I want to circle back to the conjoined trance state, but let's get into the bedroom with some of these communication skills, because the other issue is that, here you go through all this stuff in your relationship, and then that's where you end up in the bedroom. He's got performance anxiety. She's all up in her head, right? So how do we set the stage for having the kind of relationship where walking into the bedroom, you're as present there as you were in the rest of your relationship? How do you practice mindfulness during the time you're not in the lovemaking space, so that when you get into the lovemaking space, it becomes more effortless, so that you can flow together?
I love I love where you're going with this, because I was thinking the whole time, like, it starts in the bedroom, but it starts outside. That's really interesting and refreshing perspective to hear. Okay. Keep going.
So let's go through some of my communication techniques. What's the first one you want me to tackle? Because I gave you a whole bunch, so you just give me a few.
Yeah, you did. And so I guess one I thought was I was curious about was mirroring. I'm not sure what you mean by that, so I'll start with that.
Yeah. So mirroring is, we have mirror neurons, right? Have you heard of that?
No, it's a new term for me.
At a cellular level, what we have are something called mirror neurons that allow our body to perceive how another person is feeling and what they're doing. And you can call that the empathy molecule as well, so that what you can do is you can look at a person, your partner in this case, and you can get a good sense of their state of mind by how they're holding their body, what their level of anxiety or calmness is. And you can feel them in your own body. So this is a way of getting into sync with your partner by using your body as an instrument to feel where they are. And then also bringing your body and your energy to perhaps calm them down and bring them closer. So there are ways that you can, Justin, your wife's name is?
Catherine.
Catherine.
Yeah, we could call her Cat. So we call her Cat. So go with that.
Cat. So you could be sitting across the table from her, and just by how you change your body state, you could draw her towards you. You could calm her down. You could subdue her. You could connect with her. And that's what mirror neurons are. They're actually at a cellular level, how we're reflecting each other and energetically connecting with each other. So I think mirroring is a very good thing. It's also empathy. You can say, I see that you're a little bit agitated. What can I do to support you and help you right now? Right? You can mirror back what you see.
Yeah, I love that question. I see that you might be going through this. What can I do to support you? That's a beautiful statement. And is there any technique where you can like strengthen your mirroring neurons, I guess you could say?
Well, I think the way that you strengthen them is to be aware of them because they're in there and they're already strong.
Okay.
So some might call that intuition. Some might call that limbic connection. It's a combination of many different, there's some people who read auras. There are some people who talk about bioresonance. I mean, there's lots of different, if you will, modalities, perspectives, concepts, models for feeling
Okay.
each other. And here's an interesting thing about sexuality, and that
Mhm.
is that we have a technique called touching for rapture. And when you are touching your lover, you could be touching for effect. You could be touching Kat to make her feel good. But if you actually touch her to make yourself feel pleasure, she'll feel you and your pleasure with her mirror neurons. She'll feel you feeling her. And when you start that kind of cycle where you go from I'm just stroking you to as I stroke you, I'm feeling the beautiful spring of the touch, the tumescence of your
Mm.
skin, the softness of your skin. I'm feeling the warmth of you. I'm feeling you calm under my touch. When you begin to think about things in that way, it's almost like instead of rubbing her skin, you're feeling the meat underneath it. You're feeling all of her in that touch, and you're taking your pleasure from touching her. The minute you go from touching her to make her feel good to touching her for your pleasure, it
Yeah.
increases her pleasure. Another thing that you can think about is something that we call with my friend Jim Benson, whose work I published, the Multi-Orgasmic Lover for Men program. We call it the tuning fork technique.
Okay.
When you're in the bedroom and you're making love to Kat, if you're in the mind of doing her, making her feel good, it's not going to feel as good to her as if you're feeling so much pleasure
Mm.
being with her that your pleasure is actually creating this resonance that she feels, and she's getting turned on because you're feeling so good. You know how you take two tuning forks and you hit one, bong, and you hold the other tuning fork up next to it, and that
Sure.
second tuning fork starts going, bong. That's the tuning fork technique. That's mirror neurons. That's touching for rapture. That's all the interconnectedness of
Ah.
being in the moment of flow together in love making and touch and rapture and connection that is out of your mind and in your body.
Wow. Not only do I not talk about this often with people, right? That's pretty it's the case, right? I've never thought about that either. So I think that I love that you said that. That's
This is
really,
why I'm the trusted hot sex advisor to millions.
yeah, that like I get it. And that's just I
I
know
know
this is
some
just
things about sex, Justin.
I know this is just the beginning too. That's what's cool about this conversation. Oh
What
my
else
God.
you got for me? What are my other ones?
You know what? Before you even get into that, can I ask a
Oh yeah,
question? Um,
sure.
while it's on my mind,
That's why we're here.
how do you suggest going? I mean, screw it, we're going right into it. How do you suggest
Sure.
going about um, I don't know if the word's coaching your partner while they're in the act of things. Like, how does that work? Do you know where I'm going with that?
Yeah. You want to lead your woman. You want to reassure her. You want to provide safe space for her full surrender. You want to encourage her, adore her, appreciate her, call her out, draw her toward her pleasure using all kinds of verbal communication, such as, you're so beautiful to me. I love your body so much. Every year that we're together, I find you more and more desirable and more attractive. I love how sexy you are. I love it when you let go for me. I love to see you in pleasure. I'm so happy to be with you. You know, any of those
Yeah.
types of things are the kinds of things that especially the feminine really needs. And it's interesting that what we need for turn on is a combination of two things. Almost everything in the world is yin yang. It's a toggle, it's a switch, it's sympathetic, parasympathetic. You know, it's always the black and the white. It's always the opposites attract type of thing when you net things down. And having hot sex, especially in a monogamous relationship, having hot sex requires you to have a little bit of danger and a little bit of safety. If everything's safe, it's boring. If everything's dangerous, it's too edgy.
Yeah.
So the combination of those two things are really fun. When you're talking to your feminine and you want her to really enjoy herself, what she needs in the verbal is a combination of adoration, where you really show her what it is you really adore about her, and what you find sexy about her. Because if you just do sexy, she feels objectified. But if you do adoration, baby, you make the best turkey meatloaf I've ever had in my life. I love it so much. Baby, your boobs are so freaking sexy to me. The way your top is unbuttoned, I just want to bury my face in your cleavage, right? So that doesn't make her feel objectified. That makes her feel adored and found sexually irresistible. And that keeps her turned on. If you just did one, it would not be good. Just adoration, no turn on. Just turn on feels a little cheesy. So that's a really high quality combination of toggling back and forth.
So as husbands, we have to be very aware and cognizant of doing this stuff and what we're saying and how we're saying it. And that's really, really good gold nuggets there, Susan.
Justin, what's the number one sex organ?
Okay. I don't want to answer it because your brain, because you can get in your own head during sex, and I can feel it sometimes. Right. So what,
exactly.
Yeah. So would you say, and this is interesting as you're talking about this, because it makes sense. When you talk to couples, is it mostly, it's mostly on the male energy, the male to change his behavior and what he's doing if he wants more from, because let's be honest, as guys, most of the guys will have sex whenever whenever, like, hey, if my wife came in here now and was like, hey, you want to press pause? And 90% of the time I'd probably go,
I would encourage you to.
Would you? Okay.
I'd be like, Justin, we'll pick this up wherever we left off. You go on and have some hot sex with Kat.
Yeah. So she's right. So yeah. Just press pause. I'll be right back in 5.
Be right back, Ben. Yeah, take your time. Just text me when you're done.
Oh my gosh, that's great. So that's my guess. My inquiry, my question is that's really it falls a lot when guys think it's the woman or they're female. It's mostly on the guys, right?
I think generally, yes. It's best if the man understands that it's his job to initiate. And the way to do that is to make a woman a lot of small offers all the time. So as a testosterone dominant masculine, you're ready for sex. You're just pretty much would be happy to have sex anytime it's offered to you, but it's not offered enough. You'd like to have more sex generally than it's offered. And that's because women are hormonally cyclical in a monthly rhythm rather than a daily rhythm. So they might be horny every day, but we're not societally conditioned to initiate sex. It takes a very sexually confident woman, a very sexually experienced woman to initiate sex most of the time. And especially in a long-term relationship, a woman might initiate sex in a new relationship energy space where she's just kind of screwing around and dating a lot of guys and having her experiences. But in the monogamous relationship, especially after children enter the scene, women end up putting their mommy hats on and they've had babies, so then they don't feel as sexy. And so it's like you have to do twice as much work as the husband to get your woman into the bedroom, get her to lie down, calm down, get out of her head, get into her body. Because when she's done having sex with you, she's like, that was good. How come we don't have more sex? And you're like, what? Are you kidding me? I feel like I'm begging you for sex all the time. You know, that's kind of the dynamic, right? But it is
So funny.
important that the masculine is making the woman a lot of offers, but not big offers, not offers for sex, offers. So one of my programs is called the 4 Keys to Seduction. I'll give this program to you. And actually, if you go to seductiontrilogy.com, there's a free ebook that's called More Sex, More Often that gives you the first of the 4 keys to seduction. And the first of the 4 keys to seduction is something called making small offers. Small offers that get a string of yeses from your partner. And the 4 keys of seduction are small offers, erotic vigilance, and that's mirror neurons. It's funny, we come full circle here. It's really looking at her state and seeing if she might be, you know, like, where is she? Where's her head at? What is she stressed out? Is she relaxed? Because arousal has to start in relaxation. So if she's in fight, flight, we talked about the sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system too. If she's, you know, strung out or whatever, or pissed or, you know, any of those things, that's not the best time to offer her sex.
Right.
And then vision, you have to know what to do once you've got her, which is a big part of seduction, is having the kind of a game plan, a bigger picture of how to get her from not turned on to really, really turned on, and knowing how to stack her arousal over time. And then what's the 4th one? So there's vigilance, which is paying attention, vulnerability, being willing to say, damn, I really want to be with you. I need to hold you. I need to be touched. I want some affection, whatever it is that you need. Not being ashamed of your own desires, even if hers at the time don't match yours. So that's a lot to take in, but I'll explain small offers to circle back to it. I was trying to give you like the big picture of how seduction works.
Yeah.
With small offers, it's really good to start out with something like, hey babe, why don't you come over here and sit with me on the couch? Would you like me to get you a glass of wine? Let's snuggle for a minute. Come on over here and let me hold you. Would you like a foot rub? How's that crick in your neck? How was your day? Do you want to tell me about your day? Once you get her relaxing, you're touching her, you're holding her, you're getting her in your body, it helps her then begin to let down and get into that relaxation that puts her into a state of mind where you could say something like, would you like to, after we put the kids to bed, let's get them right in bed tonight, and let's go into the bedroom. I'm going to turn on some sexy music, and I'm just going to give you a full body rub. And there is no strings attached. Of course, if you want to make love, I'm a yes. But if you don't, and you just want to snooze off to sleep, it is totally fine with me. I love to be with you. I love to talk. I love to touch. And that's good. And so you start making those kinds of offers instead of offers for sex. And that allows her to get out of her monkey mind and into her body and calm down and remember that she loves you and that she does like to have orgasms with you.
That's awesome. And that's really good. Everything here is just gold, Susan.
Thank you, darling.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And you said, just for the people listening, most of them probably do know monkey mind, but can you elaborate on monkey mind and what you mean by that?
You say.
All right. So monkey mind is going to be, I mean, really, it's just all the thoughts in your head that are coming in and out all the time, and what you have to do, what you on your to-do list. And that's basically the long story short of it. So when it comes to meditation, you're getting out, again, meditation, you're getting out of your monkey mind, or at least trying to, and coming into your own self, your body, your soul. And yeah, did I do an okay job explaining it?
Fabulous.
Okay, great. I haven't actually explained monkey mind in a long time, so that's good.
You know what's so interesting? If you think about, imagine planet Earth right now and zoom out into space and think about that big, blue, beautiful ball that we live on. You can see the oceans through the clouds and the atmosphere. You can see the continents, and it's spinning in space. And then think about how there's all this life on our planet. There's funguses and there's bacteria. There's ocean animals and land animals. There's this entire amazing animal kingdom of life. Think about the tree of life now. Zoom into Earth and think about a big tree and
Mhm.
all its branches. Think about all these big branches, and think about the branch with dolphins on it, and think about the branch with snakes and amphibians on it, and think about the branch with dogs and wolves and hyenas on it, and then think about the branch with monkeys on it, the great apes, the orangutans, the bonobos, the chimpanzees, the Homo sapiens. That's us. We're animals. So when you think about the monkey mind, the reason we have a monkey mind is we're freaking monkeys. We are literally monkeys. We are literally primates. Homo sapien doesn't sit beside the tree, next to the tree as man. Man is a name we gave our animal selves. We are animals. And when you begin to think about your body and how it works, the hormones that run us, whether we've eaten too much sugar or not enough and we're bonking, whether we've gotten enough sleep, the kind of touch we want, what kind of day we've had, how we need to connect. And you start thinking about all those things. And then you look at how you, Justin, as the masculine, have this daily hormone cycle. You get a heart on every morning, hopefully. That's the sign of health.
Yeah.
And Kat, she goes into ovulation monthly. And even if you are after menopause as a woman, you still go into monthly cycles. You still cycle. You just don't have menses anymore. So here we are, these two great apes, usually pair bonded in today's civilized world. And you have this throbbing, driving, constant desire that testosterone makes you want to have sex. And she has this desire that ebbs and flows over a month. And here we are living together, trying to figure that out. And one of the very best things that you can do to ignite passionate lovemaking is to understand that you are animals, that you are primates, that you are a great ape, and know that in every single moment, the kind of touch, the kind of pleasure that you both want is changing constantly. It's constantly in flux. What felt good yesterday or the last time you made love is not at all what you want to do this time. And really acknowledging that and opening that up so that you have this incredible amount of communication. Like, how could I possibly know what you want today? I couldn't possibly. So I'm just going to ask you, what does your body want today? How do you want to be loved today? Do you want me to pick you up and carry you to the bedroom and throw you down and take your clothes off and kiss you deeply and pull your hair back a little bit and just like really maul you and paw you? Or do you want me to hold you in bed for like 15 or 20 minutes, let you tell me about your day, get things off your chest, smooth your hair, stroke your body, calm you down, just love you and feel you and connect our heartbeats and look into each other's eyes and kiss your forehead and kiss your eyes and kiss your cheek and kiss your collarbone? Where are you today? Who are you? What do you need today? I call that my sexual soulmate pact. It's a free technique that I give away. You can get it at sexualsoulmatepact.com. When you download it, it's a fabulous thing to read together on a date night and talk about and create your sexual soulmate pact. Because once you start realizing, oh, the more we communicate, the better we get in bed together, the better our sex is. And how could we know what we want? Because we can't, because we're great apes and we change with these crazy hormones that run us. And I find that just like relaxation is the ground that desire sits on, communication is the ground that hot sex sits on. And people are shy, needlessly so. But the sexual soulmate pact is the kind of thing, I think it's the best sex technique I've ever created. I give it away for free. It comes from a book I wrote called the Soulmate Pact. No, called Sexual Soulmates: 6 Essentials for Connected Sex. One of them is the Sexual Soulmate Pact. Another one is presence, being right there in the moment with your partner, instead of what happened yesterday, what you think it might be, what do you need right now? Tell me. Harder, softer, faster, deeper, slower. I need a break. I'm thirsty. Hold me some more. Push this thing in my neck right here where I've got a lump until you make that lump surrender. My toe joint is out. Can you jerk it like you do really well because it always hurts? Whatever, honey, could you just press a little bit harder right there? Oh my God, don't stop. Don't stop. I'm just going to relax. Just keep doing that until I say stop, baby. Don't stop. Okay. And then just, total quiet. Okay, that was it. Thank you. Right? So nice when you can get to that point.
Yeah, communication. Wow, that's powerful stuff. That's really powerful. Would you mind just holding 1 second, Susan?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to just remind, because we have about 20 minutes left, I want to remind my wife and kids that I'm just finishing up a recording in here.
Okay.
And if I can just be a little bit more conscious of that, that'd be great.
Sure.
So hold on 1 second for me.
Yeah, I'll be here.
All right. I wish I had falling on a budget over here. It's like the best soundproofing I can do with my glass doors.
Totally fine, babe. Don't even worry about it.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it.
All good.
Yeah. Okay. So this is all great stuff, as I've said a bunch of times. What's funny is I actually just had somebody on, like a financial expert when it comes to like figuring out our finances and stuff. And then now you, as I guess we could say, sex expert. Those are like the 2 things that cause most divorces, right? Those, when they're issues. And those are the 2 things that people are actually afraid to talk about the most. And it's really just serendipitous that 2 episodes in a row that I'm doing this, which is pretty cool. It's totally different avenues for me. So that's why I love it. And I appreciate you. There's, what do we want to, like, we've covered a lot of the bullet points here. What are some of the things? Is it like requesting do-overs I'm interested in? And then we've talked about presence and flow a little bit. And then I want to definitely make sure before our time's up, we talk about orgasm as a trance state.
I think we should really move into that because we've gotten them pretty turned on now.
Okay, that's beautiful. Right? I love it. We got the audience warmed up and we're ready to go now.
So I think you say, well, now that we're on the verge of orgasm, let's talk about what you mean by orgasm as a trance state or something like that.
I'm going to probably just barely cut this. So that's good. So now that we're on the verge of orgasm, let's talk about orgasm as a trance state. All right, Susan, what do we have here? What's this all about?
Yeah, before you go smoke that cigarette. No, hopefully not. Well, so when you're thinking about mindfulness and you're thinking about meditation, what you're doing is you're changing your brain wave state. So there are many brainwave states. The 3 most common are beta, alpha, and theta. There's gamma as well. Beta is just in what you and I are doing right now. We're in beta brainwave state. We're awake, active, in communication. And then alpha is our subconscious state. It's our, just the kind of calm, chill, not awake and alert. And then theta is our unconscious mind. That's our dream state, the state of meditation, and the state of orgasmic pleasure. So when you begin to make love, one of the things that you're doing is you're getting out of your mind. You're letting your mind quiet. And the best way to do that is to focus on sensation, connection, and love, to really move into the heart space. And for many men, they have a difficult time. They haven't yet connected their heart to their genitals. They can feel pleasure in their genitals, but often, again, because stamina is an issue for guys, they tend to dissociate from their genitals and from their pleasure so that they don't go over the edge too quickly. And so it's really learning how to connect your heart and genitals, connect your brain and genitals, so that you're able to run energy from the pleasure of your genitals all the way through your body. And the best way to do that is through Taoist practices of being a multi-orgasmic man, where you're using your PC muscles, your pubococcygeus muscles, you're doing breathing, and you're in a really relaxed state. And you're allowing yourself to feel more love and feel more pleasure and withstand the sensation of that and let that roll through your whole body. Going back to that tuning fork technique that we talked about, when you're able to really feel pleasure and express that pleasure through your own moans and your own ways of expressing pleasure, that really gets your woman's limbic system locked into yours, where you're not just in this theta state yourself, but you're actually together in a conjoined trance state. The two of you are in a trance state together. My husband, Sir Tim, and I have had an expanded orgasm practice for over 15 years. It's a clitoral stroking technique. We have taught thousands and thousands and thousands of couples this. I'll give you all these things after the show. It's at Expand Her Orgasm Tonight. And it's also known by the name of extended massive orgasm, or orgasmic meditation, deliberate orgasm, and expanded orgasm. It's a clitoral stroking technique whereby you, as the giver, are touching your partner's clitoris in the lightest of it's a very specific stroke, in the lightest of touch, and you're delivering very consistent sensation to her in a way that allows her to just stay in that feeling and receive that feeling. And that feeling expands into an orgasm that she can then ride for a really long time. An expanded orgasm takes that 1950s Masters and Johnson notion of the orgasm, where you're going up, 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 you achieve climax, and boo, you fall off the edge of the cliff and your climax is over. And instead, you go up, 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 you get into that moment of climax, and then you take that moment of climax and you stretch time like taffy. And that moment of climax, rather than being like a second, like a clitoral sneeze, some people call it, you're actually coming and coming and coming and coming. And you, as the giver, Justin, what you're doing is you're making every single stroke you deliver feel better than the last. And Kat is staying in that moment of orgasm and receiving that stroke and riding that stroke. Think about the party waves at Waikiki. Waikiki has the most beautiful surf break in the world because it breaks way out in the bay and then it just rolls in for a really long time. Imagine that the orgasm is a Waikiki surf break. So you get up on that wave. And then you just ride that wave and ride that wave. And then when that wave ends, you stack another one and it feels even better and you ride it even longer. That's the notion of expanded orgasm, where the sensation you're delivering and the turn on you're feeling in your body, you're riding Kat's orgasm. You're delivering it and you're taking her on it. You're actually driving. At the same time, you're feeling her and you're riding her orgasm with her, because you're actually in a conjoined theta trance state of extreme intense pleasure together. You feel her orgasm in your body once you get into that mutual trance state. It's a really incredible experience. And one of the things that it does is it is my meditation practice is expanded orgasm. I don't do sitting
Really?
meditation. I do coming meditation.
Okay, explain.
And what?
I said explain a little bit. Yeah, elaborate.
Because when Tim is taking me on that ride, when I'm
Okay.
riding his ride, when he's riding my ride, when we're in that state together, we don't think of anything else. Time stands still. And what's beautiful about orgasm is that the orgasm is a nervous system contraction that reboots your entire nervous system, just like meditation does. Meditation reboots your nervous system, and orgasm reboots your nervous system. So they are really, orgasm and meditation are two sides of the same coin. Once you learn how to have this level of orgasmic pleasure and sustain this level of orgasmic pleasure in your body, you can begin to have orgasms before your partner touches you. You can have orgasms in your yoga class. You can have orgasms when you're being held by your partner. Orgasms are a natural state that requires absolutely no effort and can literally bubble out of you. Being a multi-orgasmic person and being able to stay in orgasm is merely a learned skill that is within all of us right now.
That was the question I was just going to ask. Is it a skill that anyone can learn? Because
Anyone.
I mean, 35 years on Earth, I have never heard that said that way or knew that that was a possibility. And so it sounds like something that I need to read for sure. And how long? You said it's learned. Like how if someone starts diving into this and starts exploring it, how long until they can achieve one of these situations?
Well, you get better and better at it as you go. With expanded orgasm, what we did so that couples could learn it together, because one of the things that keeps monogamy hot is learning new things together in the bedroom. Beginning as a beginner, right? The beginner's mind. It's the same with meditation, right? Not assuming, but being open and being curious. And so when you begin as beginners together to learn the expanded orgasm practice, one of the things that we did was we took it and all its facets and we broke it down into 21 erotic play dates, so that you wouldn't feel like, oh, okay, I'm going to learn this and oh, I'm going to try it and it's going to be hard or any of those things. Instead, what we did was we said, okay, try this thing tonight. And then the next time you get together, try the next exercise and the next exercise. And when you begin to try the clitoral stroking technique, one of the most difficult things is not the technique itself. That's very easy. You're just rubbing your finger back and forth in a simple way. It's literally just moving your finger the tiniest little bit. It's really about learning how to connect limbically, getting into the theta state together.
Yeah.
For the woman, just learning how to completely receive without any expectation. Just allowing your body to respond in whatever way it wants to respond. For the male or for the doer, the giver, whatever sex that person happens to be. It can be any sex.
Mm-hmm.
It's about finding the spot, feeling into the spot, delivering the pleasure, not second guessing, going on the ride, taking the ride. So all of these things are, in a way, surrender. So it's more about learning how to surrender to your pleasure together than it is about any technique or
Yeah.
anything like that. So what you're really doing is you're learning how to ride a ride together, a pleasure ride, how to co-create, how to drop in and co-create by giving and receiving pleasure.
Wow, that's great. Just when I thought an hour ago I had it all figured out, and my ego, my ego was so high, and I thought I was so good at knowing what I'm good at and what I'm supposed to do. You go and say, Justin, there's a lot more to learn, and you opened me wide open, and I really appreciate that.
Fantastic. Thank you. I'll tell you, expanded orgasm has changed my life.
Yeah.
It's a big reason why I became a sexpert. It is definitely what's kept my marriage of 30 years super hot. I've never had better sex in my life, and I'm pushing 60. So the good news
Wow.
is that you've got plenty of time and unlimited pleasure together.
Wow, just like that's perfect. Just like in anything, you have unlimited potential. We also have unlimited potential in the pleasure side of things too with
Yeah.
our sex life. That's awesome. This was so good. Is there anything else is there something you're working on now, or anything else that you want to plug or talk about where somebody can find you easily, social media or something?
Sure. I think probably the best place to find me on betterlover.com, which takes you right to my YouTube channel where I've got hundreds of really great sex techniques videos.
Okay.
You can follow me on Instagram at Susan Bratton, SusanBratton. And then don't forget, I've given you some free gifts. Let's see. I gave you More Sex More Often. That one's at the Seduction Trilogy at seductiontrilogy.com. And then the expanded orgasm, there's 3 free pleasure reports there. What is expanded orgasm, touching for rapture, and the pleasure of peaking, which is a whole different sex technique that works with the nervous system to wring even more orgasmic pleasure out. The Sexual Soulmate Pact at sexualsoulmatepact.com. That's your date night reading for having super hot sex when it just blows open communication so that you become incredible lovers for each other. I think those are all the things we talked about.
Wow. Yeah. No, I'll put these in the description of
Great.
the podcast, so you guys have
Sounds
them
good.
right there, and you can just copy and paste that link. It sounds like not only do I have some reading up on to do, but maybe my listeners too. This is great stuff.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you.
Thanks,
Oh, you know
Justin.
what?
Yeah.
Before we finish, because
Yeah.
geez, you had me in a, and I'm not going to say it. I was going to say you had
It
me in theta
happens.
state. You had me in theta. No, I was zoned in, and I was like so into. I almost like lost touch of where I was as you were talking, which was really interesting. Almost like you were hypnotizing me. I wanted to ask you this question, and I'm curious for you. It can have to do with anything, but if you can go back and tell your 18-year-old self, like something, some words of wisdom, or if there was a book they could open and there was like 3 pages on it, what it would talk about, what would you say to that 18-year-old Susan?
I would say slow down, take your time, honor your body, love your body, and have really great, highly communicative sexual experiences your whole life. Be in love with being a lover.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow. All right. I think that does it. That wraps it up. That's man, I did not know what to expect in this, and it was good. It was good. Do you get that reaction a lot when you talk to people on podcasting?
Yep.
What a great feeling you have.
I mean, the thing is that we don't talk about sex enough. We just need to talk about sex more.
Yeah.
And people are starved for it. So I love to be that catalyst where I'm
Yeah.
opening up possibility for people. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about sex.
Yeah. And you know what? I hope I hope there's more younger people that like see your stuff before it's too late. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
It's
or
never too
before,
late.
well, okay. Yeah. I don't want to say before it's too late. Before it's like really hard to get back. You know, sometimes the struggle's a lot more than it would be in the beginning. Right. But that's
Yeah.
cool. I appreciate it. All
All
right.
right, so I'm going to send you
I'll let you go.
Expand Her Orgasm Tonight,
Yes.
Seduction
Yes.
Trilogy. I'm going to give you a bunch of stuff in a VIP member area. And if you guys want to try the expanded orgasm practice, try the 21 play dates, watch the videos together. And if you and Kat want to, give it a try, and you ever have any questions, just ask me. I am happy to help you if you hit any, like, hey, we ran into this weird thing. What do you do, or anything?
Yeah,
Let me know.
I wrote. That's definitely something I'm gonna have a conversation with her about. So
Good.
thank you so
My
much.
pleasure.
All right, Susan, appreciate you. And you have my email, yes, because I emailed you. Just hit reply with those. I really, really am grateful for that you're gonna send those.
You're
And
so welcome.
have a good rest of the day.
When you do you send me a Instagram graphic?
Oh, so
For the show, for the episode?
Yeah. So if you have a picture or two that you want to send me.
Yeah, I'll send you a link to my pictures. Send me an Instagram graphic. I'll put it in my newsletter. It goes to 430,000 people.
Oh,
so you'll get some more listeners, which will be nice. And then I'll put it on Instagram as well.
Okay, I will do that right away. Thank you so much. It'll be aired in like January sometime.
Yeah, that's fine. Whenever, just let us know.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Susan.
Bye, Justin.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Have a great Christmas.
You too.